What is going on, everybody? Welcome to part 7 of an ongoing series where I talk about what I would do if I were in charge of the next Animal Crossing. My name is Blaze. Thanks for tuning in today. I've took a couple weeks off to try to, get some more thoughts together and things like that. And I've kind of covered a lot of stuff over the last 6 parts. So this one today is really going to be about realistic expectations, predictions, and uh, premonitions. So I don't want to get too much into that and say what you will about premonitions or whatever. Um, but I'll get to it a little bit later on. It was something that happened to me just today, and I just wanted to talk about it and bring it up. So, um, getting into what's going on in Animal Crossing right now, my realistic predictions for Animal Crossing and what I think Nintendo is going to do next. Um, it might surprise you, but then again, it might not, given Nintendo's track record. Basically, we're going to switch scenes here. Basically, as far as realistic expectations go, and I hate to say it, I really do, I hate to say it, but I don't think we're going to have a new Animal Crossing game. Uh, well, obviously not this year. We're not going to have one this year. But I don't think there's going to be one in 2018 either. And just given Nintendo's track history with games and delays and all of that stuff that seems to plague their bigger titles. Zelda was delayed several times before it came out, which leads me to believe that I don't think we're going to get an Animal Crossing game next year. Now, Nintendo's been talking a lot about the mobile app, and they have stated that it's going to come out this year. Even that, I don't think it's going to happen this year. And say what you will about the mobile app, I don't know what it's going to have. I don't know what it's going to be. My fear on that is that it's going to end up turning into like a Farmville kind of a clone. And I hope that it's not like that. But I don't think it's coming out this year, first and foremost. And if I had to take a guess, I would guess that it's probably going to come out either in March of 2018 or possibly as late as July. If Nintendo wants to surprise me and bring it out in December, hey, thank you. But I think that they're one of the few companies that wants to have the game right. They want to get it right, and they want to release it when it's ready. A lot of companies don't do that, and I do respect Nintendo for doing that. That's why I don't think we're going to have an Animal Crossing game in 2018. So my prediction is that it's going to be in 2019. But before we get to the actual information for the game, I'm guessing that Nintendo would announce something probably around this time next year, and that the game will actually come out either in the springtime or possibly even in the winter time for the Nintendo Switch around the holidays. So, and that's 2019. So, I would much rather wait that amount of time to get a game that's done and polished and ready, rather than having a game that's plagued by glitches and has to get updates and stuff like that. And Nintendo is usually pretty good about that. So, I think that's just based on Nintendo's track record, that's my best guess. And there's other things that lead me to that as well. So, when the mobile app comes out, Nintendo has stated that they want the mobile app to work with Animal Crossing, but they didn't specify which Animal Crossing. I think everybody just kind of thought, oh, it's going to work with the Nintendo Switch version of Animal Crossing. That's going to be awesome. Which means that the Nintendo Switch version is probably coming out soon, but I think they're kind of being a little misleading there. But we don't know if that support is going to be for the new Animal Crossing, or if maybe they'll go back and update Animal Crossing Welcome Amiibo, New Leaf Welcome Amiibo, to support the app. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen. We've already gotten one major update for Animal Crossing in the form of Welcome Amiibo, and it was great. It was a wonderful addition. They added the RV area, they added a bunch of stuff, and I, for one, am just super stoked that they did that in the first place. But I don't think they're done. I think that whatever the app becomes, whether it's a full-fledged Animal Crossing game, like a mini town or an island, or whatever they do with it, they're going to incorporate some kind of functionality into Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. And the reason I think that is because if they release the app in March or April, or even as late as July, and they're not going to release a Switch version until 2019, they want to utilize that interactivity between the games now, which means they don't want you to wait for the Switch version of Animal Crossing. So whether that's going to be in 2018, if it is, great. If it's not, my guess is 2019 when it's ready, and that's I'm kind of hoping that way. So if they do open up the Animal Crossing for New Leaf for the 3DS and the interactivity between that and the mobile app, um, a year and a half would give us plenty of time to really experiment with that, toy with that, and have fun with it before the Switch version comes out. That's not to say that it won't interact with the Switch version also, it's just to say that it will interact in some way with the 3DS version. My best guess would probably be like extra storage, like online storage, and that when you get the Switch version, you'll be able to take some of those items into the Switch version. And whether that means that there's all new items in the Switch version or just a few items um, that are not in the Switch version that you have to get that interactivity from, maybe that'll happen. I hope not, but maybe. I'd like to think it won't, but I'm sure that if you already have that item and you want to make it easier on yourself to get it, you can just transfer it over. So that'd be kind of cool. So it'll come to us as an update in the form of Welcome Amiibo Plus. And what I think that'll be is, of course, there's going to be new furniture, just like they did with the downloadable furniture before. There's going to be new villagers. I don't think we even have all the villagers that were in the GameCube version and all the other versions, but there probably will be more villagers as well. And I already mentioned the mobile app support, so I think that that's kind of what we're going to get from Welcome Amiibo Plus, as well as a couple other like little things. I noticed that you can't take a photo of a villager that you have and hang it on the wall, so maybe something like that would be a feature they add to the game as well. And if there are any other little things that you'd like to see in the next Animal Crossing, put it in the comments below, because I'm sure there are things that I'm not thinking of that you would love to see. So the other things I think that they're going to do, and we're going to get to some weird stuff here in a few minutes, so don't tune away, because you'll probably want to hear the weird stuff. But basically, I think there's also going to be new amiibo, and I think that they're going to do a lot of... my initial thought was they were going to do amiibo cards, and there were going to be new welcome amiibo cards, much like the ones that are already out, like this one. They were going to do welcome amiibo cards to have special welcome amiibo characters and new ones to come into your town as well. And that was my initial thought, maybe a welcome amiibo plus series of cards. But then I started thinking about, figures and new figures that could come out as well. So one thing I thought about was, we know that Porter and a couple other characters in the Animal Crossing world still don't have an amiibo figure. Even Harvey in the campgrounds, even though he's a new character, doesn't have a figure. And there's a few that are slipping my mind, but there's potential and opportunity to have more figures come to visit you in the RV campgrounds. And I think that that's a likely scenario, that they will have a series of figures and a series of Welcome Amiibo Plus cards coming out with exclusive furniture and exclusive items that you'll be able to get. And I for one, would love to see that. I also would love to see them re-release the Sanrio cards to make it easier for people to get those cards. But, that's neither here nor there. But I do believe they are going to do a whole new series of cards, and that those cards are going to be, whether it's cards or whether it's figures, there is going to be something. And I think my initial thought was it was going to be cards, but and I'll be honest with you, I don't. This doesn't happen to me very often. I mean, this is where we get into the weird section of this video, only because it's kind of based around premonition type things. So last night I had this weird dream where I was standing inside of a Target or a Toys R Us or something like that, and I was like super excited to see all the new amiibo that just came out, and there were 8 new packages of amiibo that had just come onto the shelves, and I was like stacking them up on the floor because I was going to get them all, right? But these were actually Animal Crossing amiibo figures, and they were 2-pack figures, much like this Fire Emblem one right here. They were 2-pack figures, and they all came they all came like this, and they were about in the dream they were like $13 or something like that. But that's not a fair price. They were probably closer to $24.99. Um, but yeah, so in the dream they were $13. Um, I noticed that the figures were a little bit smaller um, than your normal amiibo figure. But if you look at figures like Cap'n compared to Zelda right here, they're actually Cap'n's already smaller than Zelda. So I mean he is about the same size as the Squidling, but I noticed that they were a little bit smaller in my dream. So it was really weird that I was like, for one, standing in front of a shelf with all these like Welcome Amiibo um, Animal Crossing figures that I'd never seen before. Um, and there were several 2-packs that were available. Now, the weirdest thing about this was that they were not named characters like Tom Nook. I mean, they were named characters, but they weren't like Tom Nook, who always had a place in your town, or Cap'n, who's always on the boat in your town. They were they were like villager characters, which is really strange because how do they select which villager actually um, gets to be an amiibo figure? But it was interesting because not only were they villager characters, um, but all the characters were like doing something. Like they had like an action that they were taking. I think one of them had like tripped and fallen. Uh, one of them was like sitting at a desk and like doing homework or something like that. It was really really strange that they had that this was first of all the dream I was having, but second of all that this was the direction they were going. Not really strange it was the direction that they were going, but it was strange that that I didn't seem surprised by it. Like I was like, oh, they look so cool and they're so awesome. But they were also really detailed. So all the papers on this character's homework, actually had like, squiggles on it and stuff, and they all had like really cool like designs, and it was just neat. I did not see one that was planting a tree, but that's another example of what an action would look like to one of those amiibo, and it was just really really weird. But two of the characters I remember, I remember 5 characters. I remember pulling them out and looking at them. Two of them, one of them was a silver wolf, and I don't remember. It was more of like a silver brownish wolf. I remember there being a brown skin tone with like silver accents, but I couldn't find a wolf that fit that description. This is Lobo. He's a silver wolf. And at first it kind of looked like him because he's got some brown in him as well. And then I thought maybe it was Whitney, and it's not Whitney because she's too blue for it to be Whitney. She's kind of silverish, almost white to a point, but I don't think it was her. The only one I could come up with was Kyle. Kyle is a brown wolf, and he was tripping and falling. He was the one that was tripping and falling, which I thought was really cool. But it was a really cool amiibo, and he had all this like fluff on the back, and then the only other wolf amiibo that it could have been would have been Wolf Link. But that would have been weird because Link already unlocks Wolf Link, so we don't need a Wolf Link amiibo. As far as a villager Wolf Link amiibo, but I thought it was really strange that was taking place in the first place, and I thought it was really cool that they were doing Animal Crossing figures based on the characters, and the other characters that I saw there was a white sheep. I didn't do enough research to figure out who that could have been. I can probably bring it up right now though. But there was also a white sheep. I can't remember what she was doing, but there was definitely a white sheep. It could have been Babra. It could have been possibly Eunice, but she's more of a brown sheep. Possibly Vesta, but she's yellow. Could have been Wendy. She's more of a blue sheep. I guess that's really it. The resource I'm looking at doesn't have pictures of all of them. So if I missed one, I apologize. But there was in the dream, it was a white sheep. I don't remember what she was doing, but I remember there being a white sheep with a scarf on, and that really does describe Babra right here, if you guys want to take a look at Babra. But then the other thing is that there were 3 other amiibos, and maybe there was another game coming out around that time. But one of them was a Yoshi amiibo that actually had a bow and arrow that looked a lot like Pit's bow and arrow. Um, and that one was a 2-pack that came with Bowser. And and those were Animal Crossing Welcome Amiibo figures. Like they actually had the packaging that looked like all the other ones that I'd seen. So it was Yoshi and Bowser that were together. And then another one was Tingle, which that one kind of leads me to believe that there was another game coming out around that same time, and that Tingle was an amiibo for that game, and I just wanted that one too while I was there. But it was a weird dream, and it made no sense. And then after I had it, I was thinking, you know what? If we were going to do another Welcome Amiibo game, that's great. But I don't know if I want cards. I don't want cards. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I don't want cards. I know they're not going to do all 400 villagers or however many it is. They're not going to do an amiibo figure for all 400 characters in the game, but they could pick out some of the most popular ones and make an amiibo figure for those characters. And of course I'm going to buy it. That would be awesome. So, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below, whether or not you would actually like for there to be amiibo villager characters, or if you'd rather see more named characters like Porter and Harvey and a few others that don't have amiibo figures yet. I, for one, would love to see characters like Kyle on your screen, or Aurora, or Blue Bear, or even Poncho get their own amiibo. That would be really cool. But there are a lot of characters to choose from, and there's no guarantee that my favorites would all get an amiibo figure. But anyway, that's really all I had for you today. Those are my predictions. Those are my realistic expectations that based on Nintendo's track record, and even some, premonition type things that I don't know if they're going to happen. And just the fact that that I remember the dream and that I'm even talking about it probably means that it's not going to happen. But it would be great if it did. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I do Animal Crossing live streams every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on my Twitch channel, which is also in the description. And I also do other games, like Splatoon and some other stuff on my Twitch channel as well. And I'll be coming back with some more episodic content for Animal Crossing in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. Until then, folks, I'm going to sign off, but I will catch you on the flippity flip.